Good morning, dear students. We are continuing the study of bacterial structure, and today we are going to study about the external components that are seen outside the bacterial cell wall. First appendage is flagella. Flagella is a hair-like helical appendage that protrudes through the cell wall, and it is responsible for providing the simming motility behavior to the bacteria. And about half of the bacteria that are known shows this motility behavior, and most of the bacteria uses flagella for this moving behavior. And bacteria may have one, two or many flagella for this motility. And this flagella, it is a very simple structure, very thin structure. It is having a diameter of 0.01 to 0.02 μm. So flagella, the peculiarity of flagella is it is a hair-like, very thin helical appendage that protrude from the cell wall. Actually, it is the base of the flagella is located in the cytoplasmic membrane, and from that cytoplasmic membrane it protrudes outwards. Next is flagellar arrangements. Based on the number of flagella present and arrangement of flagella, bacteria can be classified into different types, mainly four different types: monotrichous bacteria, lophotrichous bacteria, amphitrichous bacteria, and peritrichous bacteria. These monotrichous bacteria, they are having only a single flagellum. Lophotrichous bacteria, they are having a bunch of flagella located on one side of their cell. And the peculiarity of that bunch of flagella is that they will drive the bacteria in a single direction. And amphitrichous bacteria, here a bunch of flagella, that is they are present on two opposite ends. Bunch of flagella can be seen on either ends. And here this bunch, only one bunch operate one at a time, allowing the bacteria to move in one direction. And if the bacteria have to move in opposite direction, then the other bunch will propel the bacteria in opposite direction. Next is peritrichous bacteria. Here the entire cell surface has the flagella projecting in all direction. So based upon the arrangement of flagella, bacteria are classified into monotrichous, lophotrichous, amphitrichous and peritrichous. Next is structure of flagella. Flagella, it is mainly composed of three main parts: a prominent filament that is seen outside the bacterial cell wall, and then a hook, a middle, that is the middle portion, and a basal body. The basal body, it is seen embedded in the cell wall and the cytoplasmic membrane. So it is the base, so it is known as the basal part. It connects the flagella to the entire cytoplasmic membrane and the cell wall. And the filament, it is the tip portion, it is helical and it is several times longer than that of the cell. Hook, which is the middle portion which serves to connect the filament to the basal body. It is very short portion and it is curved. And this in gram-negative bacteria, we can see a sheath that is covering the flagella. The sheath is actually an extension of the outer membrane. So in gram-negative bacteria, the flagellum is covered by a sheath that extends from the outer membrane. So flagella, it is composed of three main parts. The outermost tip part is called the filament. The middle portion is the hook, and the basal part is the basal body. It is seen in the cell wall or the cytoplasmic membrane. And filament, it is very long, the helical part, and it is larger, several times longer than that of the cell. And hook, it is a very short curved portion that helps to connect the filament to the basal body. Flagellin. This flagellar hook and filament, they are made up of protein subunits called flagellin. So flagellin, they are actually the protein subunits of the flagella, and flagellin, it is arranged in a helical manner. And flagella grows at its tip. We know that hair grows at its root, but flagellum, it is growing at its tip. So the flagellin, the protein subunit that are actually produced inside the cell. So from the cytoplasm, as the flagella is a hollow structure which is having a central hollow region, this flagellin monomers pass through this hollow center of the flagellum and they are added to the distal end of the filament. So these entire flagellin molecules have to move from the cytoplasm towards the tip of the flagella, and on the distal end of the filament this flagellin get added. So it grows at the tip. So flagella is composed of the protein subunits called flagellin. Then propulsion of the bacteria. Here we are studying how this bacteria is moving with the help of the flagella. So bacterial flagella, they are powered by means of the protein motive force which is established in the bacterial membrane. So protein motive force, it is a chemiosmotic potential that is generated across the bacterial cytoplasmic membrane, and with the help of this proton motive force, the bacterial flagella get powered. So the flagellar filament, it is rotated by means of a motor apparatus. This motor apparatus is actually the part of the basal body that is seen embedded in the cytoplasmic membrane. So the flagellar filament, it is rotated by means of a motor apparatus located in the plasma membrane. This motor apparatus allows the cell to swim in fluid environments. So this motor apparatus, that is actually the part of the basal body, and this motor apparatus is composed of 4 rings, 2 outer ring and 2 inner rings. So the innermost rings are M ring and S ring. So the inner rings, they are located in the plasma membrane and they comprise the actual motor apparatus, and the outer rings are P and L rings which are located. The P ring is located in the periplasm and the L ring, it is located in the outer membrane. So this L ring, it is seen mainly in gram-negative bacteria and it is located in the outer membrane. So this M and S ring, they comprise the motor apparatus, and the P and L ring, they serve as the bushings to support the rod which helps to join the filament to the basal part. So that is the hook. So this P and L ring, they act as bushing which helps to join the hook to the basal body. So these are the motor apparatus of the filament that is present in the basal body. Then as M rings turns, the influx of protons will happens, and it will facilitate the movement of the filaments. So the movement of the M ring generate the influx of protein which provide the rotary motion, and this rotary motion is then transferred from the hook to the filament, which will helps the bacteria to propel in a fluid medium. So these are all about the propulsion of bacteria. So it is the bacteria propel by means of flagella, and the flagella are powered by means of this proton motive force that is generated in the bacterial cell membrane. And this flagella, it is composed of a motor apparatus which is composed of 2 types of ring. Innermost ring, that is M and S ring, which form the actual motor apparatus, and the outer rings, they are the P and L rings, and this P ring is located in the periplasm and L ring is located in the outer membrane, and they are act as bushings for the that support the hook and the filament. And the M ring, when the M ring rotates, the proton motive force is generated and it is then transferred to the filament which will propel the bacteria in the fluid medium. Next is comparison of eukaryotic and prokaryotic flagella. So there is a lot of difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic flagella. I am mentioning a few. The structure and characteristics of prokaryotic flagella are different from eukaryotic flagella. In eukaryotic flagella, it is covered by plasma membrane, whereas prokaryotic flagella is not covered by plasma membrane. In case of gram-negative bacteria, a sheath that is generated from the outer membrane covers the flagella, but it is not an extension of the plasma membrane. And so the first difference is that in eukaryote, the flagella is covered by the plasma membrane, but in prokaryote, the flagella is not covered by the plasma membrane. And in eukaryote, the flagella is showing a 9+2 arrangement of the microtubules. But here, there is no microtubules, there is no 9+2 arrangement. Here, the subunits are flagellin. So, prokaryotic flagella lack the 9+2 arrangement of microtubules that is seen in eukaryotes. Then bacterial flagella, they are being energized by the proton motive force, but in case of eukaryote, ATP hydrolysis powers the flagella. So that is the main difference. So in prokaryotes, the proton motive force is responsible for this flagellar propulsion, whereas in eukaryote, ATP hydrolysis provides energy for the movement of flagella. So these were some of the main differences between eukaryotic and prokaryotic flagella. Next, it is the structure of flagella. So the basal body is being shown with two types of rings, the innermost S and M ring and the outer L and P ring, and the hook which is connecting the basal body to the filament. It is a curved portion. Then at the tip of the hook we can see the filament. So this is the basic structure of a flagella, bacterial flagella. So this is the diagrammatic representation. Here we can see the inner cytoplasmic membrane that is seen at the base. Then above the cytoplasmic membrane hold the S and M ring, and then we can see the peptidoglycan layer and the periplasm, and on the top of the peptidoglycan layer we can see the P ring and the L ring. It is so in the periplasmic region we can see this P ring, and in this outer membrane we can see the L ring. So above this form the basal body. These four types of ring form the basal body that constitute the motor apparatus, and above that basal body we can see the curved hook which is connecting the filament to the basal body. And filament, it is composed of flagellin. Flagellin are arranged almost in a helical manner. So flagellin, they are the protein subunit. They are produced inside the cytoplasmic membrane. That is, they are produced not inside the cytoplasmic membrane, they are produced inside the cell in the cytoplasm. And since the structure of the flagellum is a hollow structure, from the cytoplasm the flagellin monomers, they move towards the tip of the flagella and get added at the tip. So this is the structure of flagella. Next appendage is pili. Pili are tiny hollow tube-like projections seen on the bacterial cell surface, and they are protein tubes. They originate from the cytoplasmic membrane. Pili are commonly found in gram-negative bacteria. They are less common in gram-positive bacteria. And two types of pili are there, attachment pili and sex pili. So pili, they are tiny hollow tube-like projections in the seen on the bacterial cell surface. They actually originate from the cytoplasmic membrane, and they are common in gram-negative bacteria. Pili are of two types. Attachment pili, it is otherwise known as fimbriae, and sex pili, it is otherwise known as conjugation pili. So first one is attachment pili, that is fimbriae. So attachment pili, they are short, fine hair-like appendages. They are characteristics of gram-negative bacteria, and as the name suggests, they help to adhere the bacteria to surface of cells or surface of some substrate. So that is why they are called attachment pili. So it helps the bacteria to get attached with the substrate or other cells. They have no role in motility. So the diagram is a bacterial cell which is having the hair like a structure called attachment pili or fimbriae, and by the help of this pili the bacteria get attached to another bacterial cell or to a host cell or to a substrate. Next is sex pili or conjugation pili. They are long hair-like projections connecting the protoplasm of two mating bacteria. So TWO2, two mating bacteria. So they are long hair-like projections. So sex pili, they are somewhat elongated projections. They are also very thin, and they helps to connect between two bacterial cells. They are fewer in number and they help in the transfer of genetic material between bacteria during conjugation. So in last class we have studied about plasmids, and the bacteria that possess plasmids, they are called F positive cell, and those bacteria which lack plasmids, they are called F negative cells. So during conjugation, these two bacterial cells, that is an F positive cell and an F negative cell, they come closer, and the genetic exchange between these two bacterial cells takes place by means of establishing a conjugation tube between these two cells. So conjugation tube is actually an extension of this sex pili or the conjugation pili. So it is a hollow tube that helps to connect between two mating bacteria, and they form a channel or a tube through which the F positive cell can transmit one copy of its plasmid to the F negative cell. So this sex pili or conjugation pili, it helps in the transfer of genetic material between two bacterial cells. So it is otherwise known as the conjugation pili or sex pili. Next is structure of pili and its role in infection. So the attachment pili and the sex pili, it is having a shaft which is composed of protein called pilin. So the protein that is made up of, the pili is made up of a protein called pilin, and this shaft it is having an adhesive tip. So the shaft is having an adhesive tip, and its structure is similar to the structure of glycoproteins or glycolipids. They are actually receptors seen on the host cell. So actually the pili, this attachment pili, it has a role in establishing attachment with the host cell. So the host cell, it is having some specific receptors which helps to bind with this bacteria. So the pili is getting connected with the host cell by means of this adhesive tip that is present on the shaft. And the peculiarity of this adhesive tip is that it is having a shape that is very similar, or that is complementary to the shape of the receptors that is present in the host cell. And the receptors of the host cell, they are either glycoproteins or glycolipids. And this shaft or the adhesive tip of the shaft in the pili helps to bind with the cell receptors. So the attachment pili thus play a major role in infection by allowing the pathogenic bacteria to get attached with the epithelial cells lining the respiratory, intestinal or gastrointestinal tract. So the attachment pili thus helps the bacteria to get attached to these epithelial cells and prevent the bacteria from being washed off by the body fluids. So attachment pili help to establish the infection, as well as it helps to prevent the bacteria from being washed off by the body fluids and the mucus that is present there. So that is the function of the pili. Capsules. Capsules are viscous substance that form a layer or envelope around the bacterial cell wall. So capsules, they are envelopes that are seen around the bacterial cell wall, and they are viscous in nature. And when the layer is too thin, it is termed as microcapsule. So microcapsule, it is forming only a thin viscous layer around the bacterial cell wall. And when this capsule layer, it is abundant, it is present in larger quantity, and too many cells are embedded inside that capsular matrix, then it is termed as slime layer. So Microcapsule, it is having only a thin viscous material around the cell wall. And slime layer, it is having an abundant capsule layer around the cell wall, and more than one bacterial cell get embedded within that capsule layer. Then it is called a slime or slime layer. Then functions of capsule. So depending upon the bacterial species, capsules serve different functions. The most important function is that it provides protection to the bacteria from drying by binding with the water molecule. So bacteria, it always need a moist environment, and this capsule, it helps to bind water molecule and protect the cell from drying. And they block the attachment of bacteriophages. So capsule protect the bacteria from being eaten by the bacteriophage virus. So it helps the bacteria, or it prevent the bacteria from being attacked by the virus. And it also prevent the phagocytosis of the bacterial cell by the host immune cells. So they may be anti-phagocytic, that is, it inhibit engulfment of this bacteria by WBCs of the host immune cells, host immunity. So as we know, the WBC, mainly the macrophages and neutrophils, they are phagocytic cells, and they will engulf the bacterial with the foreign antigens. Okay, then if these capsules are present around this bacteria, then this capsule protect the bacteria from phagocytosis. And another function is that these capsules promote attachment of the bacteria to other cells or surfaces. And these capsules, they are having certain charged ions, and so these charged ions prevent the bacterial cells from aggregating with each other. If bacterial cells aggregate, then what happens? They will form coagulates, and they will get settled down. So this bacterial the capsules prevent these bacterial cells from forming aggregates or coagulates. So these are some of the important functions of capsules. Next is composition of capsules. Capsules are mainly composed of polysaccharides, and this homopolysaccharide capsules are capsules composed of same kind of sugars, and they are usually synthesized outside the cell from disaccharides by extracellular enzymes. So these homopolysaccharide capsules, they are synthesized outside the cell from disaccharides by the help of some extracellular enzymes. Then heteropolysaccharide capsules are capsules which are composed of several different kinds of sugars. They are synthesized from different sugars inside the cell. So a homopolysaccharide capsule is seen in Streptococcus mutans, and here it is synthesized from the same sugar polymer, that is glucan. Glucan is actually a polymer of glucose which is produced from sucrose. And heteropolysaccharide capsules, they are seen in Klebsiella pneumoniae, and sometimes the capsules are also made up of polypeptides, and example is of the capsule of Bacillus anthracis. So the capsule of Bacillus anthracis is made up of polypeptides rather than polysaccharides. So mainly the capsules are composed of polysaccharides, either homopolysaccharides or heteropolysaccharides, and in some bacteria the capsules are made up of polypeptides. This is the diagram of a capsule, capsules possessing bacteria. Here the violet colored lines are bacteria, and the white layer that is covering this bacteria are the capsular layer that is surrounding the cell wall. And this is the photograph of slime layered bacteria. Here we can see slime layer as viscous covering, abundant viscous covering of the capsule around a colony of bacterial cells. So we can see more than one bacterial cell in almost all the slime layers. So this is the difference between capsule and slime layer. In capsule only one bacterial cell is seen, and in slime layer more than one bacterial cell is seen. So this is all for today's class. Thank you.